Everyone wants to end up somewhere, but when it comes to finances, everyone doesn't end up where they want to be. The average American household has over $15,500 in credit card debt alone. That's not even counting school debt or mortgages. Every month racking up bills, not able to pay them back. The average family spends over $2,700 a year going out to eat. 76% of American households live week to week, meaning that if they miss one paycheck, they will not be able to pay their bills. A few years ago, the average American household saved negative 2.8%, while the average household in Japan saved almost 18% of their annual income. CommonGround Church. All of us want to end up somewhere. The sad thing is, when it comes to our finances, many of us don't end up where we want to be. Let's not dig ourselves a hole. Let's be a good steward of what God has given us and take care of it. Let us live a life blessed so that we can be a blessing. We're going to take a look at a really popular story, a story that many people may know from the New Testament, and find out how it applies to our finances and what we do with it. It's the story of the prodigal son. If you have your Bibles, you can turn there or look in your notes. Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 15. It says, Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. He says, the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. And so he divided the property between them. And not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had, and he set off for a distant country. And there he squandered his wealth in wild living. It says, and after he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. We can find in this story similar situations to how many times we dig a hole when it comes to our finances. If you're taking notes, you can write this down. We're going to take a look at that. First thing we do to dig a hole that the prodigal son did when it comes to our finances is this. We overestimate the importance of wealth. We overestimate the importance of wealth. Luke chapter 15, verse 11 and 12, it says, Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. Give me my wealth. And so he divided the property between the 2 of them. Now, here's the deal. This younger son was living a good life. He was living on his father's property. His father was taking care of everything. He had everything going for him. He was blessed. He really was. He was taken care of. But he looked around and saw the entire estate that his dad had worked and built, and he thought, I want my share. He goes, I want to go, and I want to be rich. And he asked his dad to do something that was not very cool. He asked his dad to give him his share of the estate before it was time for him to give him the share of the estate. And he did that. Why? Because he wanted wealth. He wanted to chase wealth. Now, we have this that permeates our whole society in the United States, wanting to chase wealth. As a matter of fact, we have one of a very rich person in our society. He made this statement. I won't tell you his name, but you would know him by his hair. He has really bad hair, like a huge comb over and really bad hair. And he made this statement. He goes, some people say that money can't buy happiness. He said, the problem is they just haven't learned to shop at the right places. Now, I'm going to say this. That permeates our culture. And the saying that money will buy you happiness, money will make you happy, money will make you be where you're supposed to be, it is so not true. See, the chasing of wealth is not what we are called to do. As a follower of Christ, we're not called to chase wealth. Let me say this to you also. Even if you're not following Jesus, if you chase wealth, it will always leave you feeling empty. Because there are so many people who have gotten to that place where now they are wealthy and they realize, I've chased this my whole life and it hasn't fulfilled the longing inside my heart. It still leaves me empty.
You see people who chase wealth. The one guy who said that has had wife after wife, and he's not happy. He's not happy deep down the inside. Let me read what a gazillionaire said. A gazillionaire from the Old Testament, a guy named Solomon, who was loaded beyond loaded. He made this statement. He said in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 4 and 5, he says, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Restrain yourself. Riches will disappear in the blink of an eye. Wealth sprouts wings and flies off into the wild blue yonder. Out of the Message. I love how it says in the Message version right there. He says, if you live your life chasing wealth, you're going to live your life chasing emptiness. You're going to live your life chasing something that could disappear in a moment of time. You're going to live your life trying to build your life upon something that is not a firm foundation. Because you see wealth come and you see wealth go. You see people who build up wealth and you see them, we saw it just a few years ago, people who lost everything in just a short amount of time. See, here's the deal. Don't chase wealth. As a follower of Christ, we don't chase wealth. Who do we chase? We chase Christ. We chase Jesus. In the 1960s, I'll give you an example of how we in our culture have started to chase wealth. In the 1960s, in our country, in the 1960s, there was no such thing as self-storage units. They did not exist. How many know we see them everywhere now? You'll drive down, there'll be a self-storage, and people are investing a lot of money into self-storage, and it's becoming a big industry. As a matter of fact, it's becoming so big that in our country, there are over 30,000 units. 30,000 self-storage units, and that number is increasing daily. It is a $12 billion business. Okay, think about this. In the 1960s, no such thing as self-storage. In today's culture, we have 30,000 units of self-storage filled up with stuff that doesn't just belong to people who've moved from one house to another and need a temporary location to store their stuff. That's not what most people are using them for. Most people are using those self-storage units to store stuff that they don't have enough room to store in their house. So I go out and I buy more stuff, and I buy so much stuff because I'm chasing wealth. I'm chasing what everybody else thinks of me. And I buy so much stuff, I don't even have enough room to keep my stuff in my house. So I put my stuff in a storage unit, and I wonder how much stuff in that storage unit is gathering interest because we are still paying for the stuff that we are now storing in a place not even close to where we live because we are chasing wealth. See how that's just jacked up? But our society permeates that. Let's not be people who do the same thing. Don't follow society. We learned this from the prodigal son of digging a hole. Here's the second thing if you're taking notes. The second mistake he made was he looked for instant gratification. He looked for an instant, man, I want to feel good now. Isn't that the way we live our life, or what's taught to us? Feel good now. Do it to feel good now. Well, if it'll make you feel good, you should do it. And we live for instant gratification. It was incredibly rude for him to ask his dad for his portion of his inheritance. It was supposed to go after his dad passed away. That's when it was supposed to be divided. For him to come up while his dad was still living was rude, and it was incredibly disrespectful. But what was he doing? He wasn't willing to wait till it was time. He wanted instant gratification. He wanted it right then. Luke chapter 15, verse 13, it says, not long after that, what happened? The son gathered together all he had, and he set off for a distant country. He said, Dad, give me everything that's coming to me. He took everything that was coming to him, and he went to a faraway land because he was looking to have a good time. He was looking for instant gratification. If you're taking notes, write this down. And I want you to grab hold of this. Maturity is the ability to postpone pleasure. Okay, write that down, really. Write it on your arm or something. Maturity is the ability to postpone pleasure. I'm going to speak to those of you who are in college or right now for a second who are getting ready to go to college in the next few years. You will have people in front of you who are financial advisors, and they will talk to you about taking out student loans. Not just for the amount of what it would pay to go to college, for amounts that you could have in addition to what it would cost you to go to college. So you could have a PS4, or you could have a big TV in your room so you could really enjoy the college experience. And they will add that, and they will add that onto your student loans. And you could have those student loans, and those student loans could be with you longer than a family pet that lived a long time. And you may think they will never go away. Who's lived live that life. If you look at those student loans that you add stuff to that you don't even need. Why? Because you want instant gratification. And those people who are giving you those student loans are not giving you those student loans because they love you. They're giving them to you because they see dollar signs in you. See, don't sell out for that, and learn it at a very young age. Maturity is the ability to postpone pleasure. So some of you may be 67 years old and you're not mature at all because you just see something like, I've got to have that now. It doesn't matter if I have the money in the bank. I need to have it now. Who needs money in the bank? I've got this little card that's made of plastic and I want it now and I can get it now. Can I tell you another lie? 90 days, same as cash. It's not. 90 days is not the same as cash. I don't know if you know this. When they say something like, we'll give you this 90 days, same as cash, you still have to pay for it. And those 90 days quickly evaporate. And then you're standing there after 90 days and you're like, oh, crud, I've got to pay for this now. They didn't come into that hoping that you would pay that off in 90 days. They came into that banking on the fact that you would not be able to pay it after 90 days. But how many times do we say, I want this, I want this, I want this. Oh, I look at my savings account. Oh, it doesn't exist. So how do I get this? Because I want it. That's not there. But I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and it probably won't be there tomorrow. Yes, it probably will. And if it's not there, there will be something better there tomorrow. But we immediately want to feel good and want something. And so we buy stuff we can't afford. We buy stuff we can't afford. I remember when Kim and I first got married. We weren't the wisest financially, and we made some choices and decisions. May not have been that good, but we tried to dig ourselves out of the hole. Who's ever dug yourself out of the hole? Many times you find people dig themselves out of the hole just to redig another hole. Don't do that. That's a big mistake. We went and we were living in a house. We rented a house, $280 a month. That was amazing. I wish we were still there. It only was like 300 square feet. It wasn't very big. It's probably 600 square feet. And I thought we could live here forever. With 5 kids, I wish we had that house. Who knows, $280 a month is like awesome. And we were there, and we decided at some point that we wanted to buy our own house. And so we went out looking to buy our own house. And we were searching, and I thought, well, we can afford a house. It's about this much. Well, we went to the bank to get a loan. So we went to the bank to get a loan. It was in the heyday of mortgages when they would give everybody a mortgage. Oh, you're breathing. I'll give you a mortgage. And so that's literally what happened in our culture. You're breathing. Don't have a job. Who cares? You'll get one of these years. And so that's the truth, though. We walked in, and I gave them all my financial information, all of our financial information. We sat down, and we'd figured out what we thought our range was for a house. And our range was about right here. It's pretty low. We went in, and he got done, and he goes, we figured it out, and you can afford this much. See, we had planned on this, and went to the banker, and he goes, no, you can afford this. Well, as soon as he said that, my first thought was, we've been looking at this, and they're okay, but this is sweet. This is okay. Sweet, okay, sweet. I'm like, I kind of want sweet. And then I looked there, and he told me this much, and I looked at him, and all of a sudden this light clicked in my brain. I was like, okay, how much is my payment for this? And he goes, oh, you'll be able to pay it. And I was like, no. I didn't ask that. I said, how much is my payment? I want to see the numbers for this. And he ran the numbers, and he showed them to me, and he handed it to me, and I looked at it, and I said, oh, yeah, we can make this payment if we don't eat. We can make this payment if we don't have a car or even pay for gas in our car. We can make this payment if we choose just to live life naked and never have any clothes. Yeah, we can make this payment and we can't do anything else for the rest of our life. But yeah, you're right, Mr. Banker. We can make that payment. He goes, oh, you can do it. I said, no, we can't do it. He goes, no, you can. And I said, if you say that again, I will find another banker. Because we can live right here and make it, or we can live right here. What do most people choose to do? Banker, they said I could do it. Woo, I'm going to do it. And they get into it, and they don't realize the hole they've dug for themselves. Or you get a card in the mail, a letter in the mail. Get these all the time. You've been approved. And oh, don't we so all want to be approved? I mean, we've grown up in life being disapproved so many times, and we get a letter in the mail, and on the outside of it, it says, you've been approved, and oh, it builds up my self-esteem. I have now been approved. What have I been approved for? Well, I've been approved for a credit card. What is the interest rate? I don't care because I'm approved. 24 point something? Oh, I'm approved. You're approved to be stupid. That's what it is. And they send you those letters, and you're approved. And do you know, a few years back, the average American family had 16.7 credit cards. 16.7. Why? Boy, they were very approved. And every one of those cards had a balance on it for most Americans. Fortunately, in our culture, we started to pay those down some, but not nearly enough. You're like, I don't have that many. But you'd be amazed what we consider not a card. Well, I have a Sears card, but that's not a credit card. Yes, it is. I have a Best Buy card, not a credit card. Yes, it is. I don't know if they charge interest. Credit card. They make money off of you if you don't make your payments. Credit card. But I want to have it. I walked through Best Buy and I saw a big screen TV and I need it. Okay, 4-year-old, buy it when you don't have it, or wait till you save the money. I just don't know if I can wait that long. Then dig some more of the hole and get in deeper. Everybody see that? That's what we've done as a culture. Okay, our TV in our house, we have two TVs in our house, two TVs. One in our bedroom. It's one of those TVs, I don't know, it's like, you know, now you have like the thin screen where this is like one of those wide. We think it's worth more because it weighs like 5 times more. And so, you know, it's one of those big ones. That's in our bedroom. And the one in our living room is like very little. And I'll walk through Walmart and I'll walk through and I'm like, oh, that would be so awesome to watch a football game on that. And then I look at how much it costs and I'm thinking, oh, my TV is okay. So we don't live your life for instant gratification. Don't live your life for that. It says in Luke chapter 12, verse 15, great verse. It says, Jesus said to them, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Listen to this. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. I want to live my life just to have things. I'm going to share a secret with you. When you die, those things don't go with you. You're just dead. You are. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people that whenever someone's dead, they fight over those things. And those things become a contentious jumble of nothing. Don't live your life for things. Live your life for Christ. Okay, now everybody look up here. Does God want us to be blessed and have things? Yes. But if we're at a place where things have us. If I'm walking by, oh, I want that TV, I want that TV, I want that TV. Oh, I can't afford it, but I want it. That thing has me. Everybody grab that. That thing has me. Don't let something have you. Let Christ have you. Here's the next thought. We'll keep going. What did he do? He practiced self-destructive behavior. He practiced self-destructive behavior. Give an example. Can I tell a story? Anybody want to hear a funny story? Funny story? Okay, nobody wants to hear one. Okay, anybody want to hear a funny story real quick? We were driving home from church last week. Driving home from church really doesn't have much to do with my sermon, but I'm going to tell this story. Been wanting to all week long. And driving home from church last Sunday, and the whole family is in our minivan driving, and we're driving down the highway, and all of a sudden, like this one car, you could tell this one car wanted to get by this other car, and the other car wouldn't let him by, kept driving slow. And so finally there was an opening. That car weaved around, and they're driving right beside him, and then you just see him. And I just told Kim, I said, this could be entertaining. This could be better than going home and watching television. And so they pull up beside him. You see him roll down their window, and someone sticks out their hand, and they tell the other person they're number one, using an inappropriate finger. And they do that, and they don't just do it for a second. They stay by them for a period of time, just telling them they're number one, and then they drive off. Okay, so you see the other car, which is a white pickup truck, all of a sudden, it just clicked in, and they hit their gas. And they chase the car down. The whole time I'm thinking, this is awesome. I'm chasing them. I mean, I'm speeding up because I want to see who would have done that? I want to see what's going to happen. I'm like, this is entertaining. And we might be able to lead someone to Christ after the fight. And so, just before the fight, I'm just joking. And so we pull up, and the white truck pulls up the other one, and the dude's wife, okay, the guy who's driving, his wife rolls down the window, and she lets them know they're number one for a while. Then they speed away. And I'm thinking, this is awesome. And I wanted to pull up next to the car that did the first number one sign. And I pull up next to him, and I'm looking, it's like a 60 or 70-year-old man. Just this old man. And I did something my wife didn't like, but it was actually really fun. I drove by and I said, I'm literally going to really tell them they're number one. And so I drive by in our minivan and I'm sitting there and I lean over and not a bad number one. I just went and said, you're number one. And I tried to get all my kids to do it too. Who thinks that would be fun? But I told him he was number one, using an appropriate finger. Self-destructive behavior. Let's get back to that. He didn't chase us. He went and chased the other car. We just went home. And Luke chapter 15, verses 13, talking about self-destructive behavior. And there, when he left, he squandered his wealth in wild living. Everybody look at that word, squandered. He squandered. He just wasted it. He wasted it. He wasted everything his dad had worked to save. And he squandered it all in wild living. Do you know, this year in Las Vegas, just in the amount of money that is lost, not in the amount that's bad or in all the other entertainment factors, just in the amount of money that is lost in Las Vegas is $17 billion. This year, $17 billion will be lost in Las Vegas gambling. How many of you think that's squandered? What could we do with $17 billion to reach a world that's lost and hurting? It's squandered. You just give it away. How many times do we squander money? How many times? Can I just share a secret with you for those of you that and listen, it's not my business, but I just want to share this with you. There's a reason why when you go to those places that their buildings are really, really nice. And you go and you're like, oh, look at the architecture. Isn't this amazing? Look at these lights. Look at those chandeliers. Every 2 feet we walk, there's a brand new chandelier and it's beautiful and it's great. I share a secret with you. People who lost $17 billion paid for that. And they had a plan for them to pay for that. And they have more drawings of more people that will invest in paying for that. See, how many know you could have used that for something better than just to be lost? The average person actually it's not an investment, it's a lose investment, invest about $1,200 a year in lottery tickets. And the majority of those people get nothing in return. That's what they lose. Well, I won $2. Yeah, but you just bet 10. Well, yeah, but I won 2. Woo, I won. I won a $2 ticket. Yeah, but you just put in $10. Do you not see that's negative $8? That's negative 8. No, I won 2. No, you lost 10. You lost 8. You won 2. You lost 8. Okay, not my business. Here's what I'm saying is this. Does God have a better plan for your money than that? Does God have a better plan for our money than us wasting it on things we don't really need? Okay, I'm gonna quit getting in your business because I can just tell. You're looking at me, you're telling me I'm number one. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your eyes. I'm gonna pull up beside you. Okay, here we go. How much money do we waste on things that we don't need? God convicted me this morning. I like Dr. Pepper. I do. And if I drive by a convenience store or something, I'll stop and I'll go get a Dr. Pepper. And God just convicted me that, you know what? You know, if I buy 2 Dr. Peppers a day, and I get the 44-ounce ones because that's the way to go. And if I buy 2 of those a day and they're $1.30 a piece, $1.40 a piece, how much are they at Come and Go? Oh, I'm just kidding. $1.40, $1.47, $1.50. If I buy 2 of those a day, it's $3 a day. $3 a day doesn't seem like very much until you go 3 times. $365. That's over $1,000 a year. If I just quit going into convenience stores and buying Dr. Peppers, I can make someone's house payment. I mean, that'll convict you. It convicted me. Okay, we'll go ahead and keep going. Next thing they did to dig a hole. And next week, we're going to look at the other side of the story. How did he get out of the hole? Who wants to get out of the hole? Some of you are here right now, too, and you're like, oh, I'm in a hole. I'm such a loser. I'm in a hole. I'm the person who buys everything I see. And how do I look at the hole so deep? You know, your hole, Pastor Tom, was only right here in the video. My hole is like way up here. I can never get out. Yes, you can. See, today we want you to have hope, to start to figure out a way to get out and start to let God devise a plan for you to be able to get out, to come Wednesday night for the class, to figure out a budget. That's not a cuss word. Budget is not a cuss word. On how to get out of that hole and to see it. Here's the next thought. The next thing he did, he spent everything he has. Spend everything you have. How many times do we do that? We spend everything we have. And it says this, and after he had spent everything, well, that's my life. I just spend it. I spend everything. I spend it all. Start to develop a way not to spend it all. Start to develop a way not to spend it all. Well, I just can't. I looked at what I spend and I can't cut anything. I could never cut cable TV. Who could live without cable TV? Most of us could. Who remembers a day of free TV? I remember growing up as a kid, you had 3 channels. You had 2, 6, and 8. If you're from Oklahoma, you're from Tulsa, you had 2, 6, and 8. NBC, ABC, CBS. My wife said you also had channel 11. Nobody watches that. OETA. Okay, Lord, help them. Help them. Help them. No. There's like 6 people. 6 people. 6 people watch OETA. OETA, Lord, help. Really? You really do. Get a life. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just kidding. And then when I was growing up, they came out with a brand new channel, Channel 23, which was Fox. 23 was for free. And we used to watch those growing up, and I think we were okay. I just can't afford it. I can't cut something. Here's another thing maybe you could cut. Going out to eat. No, I heard a no. No, not cutting that. I remember when I used to work at Mazzio's Pizza when I was 16 years old. There was a family. They would come in almost all the time, every month, at the end of the month, about 4 or 5 days for the end of the month. And I remember one time I was helping them. They're like, yeah, we're down to our last $30, and there's 5 days left in the month, and we figured we were going to celebrate and we're gonna go out to eat with our last $30. 5 days before the end. We have no food in our house, so we decided to spend it all here. And they came in, and I'm sitting there, and I'm 16 years old. And not the most financially responsible person, but I'm sitting there going, this does not add up in my brain. You could go buy ramen noodles to live for the next 5 days. You could go buy peanut butter, and even if you didn't have bread, you could just slap it on your hand and lick it. You would have, you know what I'm saying? And you could live for a while. You could do that. How many know you could do that? And they're sitting there, man, they ordered all this pizza, and they spent almost all their money with the change they had left. They used it on video games. I remember I'm sitting there going, this is stupid. This is dumb. What'd they do? They spent all they had. They spent all they had. Let's not live our lives like that. Listen to this. Psalm chapter 37, verse 21. It says, the wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. Okay, let's take a survey. Who wants to be the wicked and borrow and not repay? Raise your hand. Who wants to give generously? Raise your hand. Okay, do it again. Wicked and not repay, borrow and give generously. Let's get it down and deep. Wicked, not repay, borrow and give generously. We give generously. We give away generously. The righteous give generously. Who wants to be one who borrows? Who wants to be one who gives? I want to be the one who gives. We're like, well, if God would just bless me. Can I just be honest with you? And God spoke something to me this morning, and he said, you know what? I would bless people more if I could trust them. Not to blow the blessing I give them. See, some are like, God bless me, God bless me. God's like, I'm not blessing you. I'll bless you with the amount that you're able to give, and he'll do a certain amount. But I believe this. I believe this. I believe God's waiting to pour out financial blessings on people that he can just trust. That he can just sit there and say, you mean if I bless you with this, you're not going to go blow it on something stupid, but you're going to use it to help others? God's just looking to bless you, but he won't bless stupid. Let's go ahead and keep going. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20. It says, in the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has. He eats it all. He just eats it all. Well, it's all gone now. Yeah, you should have eaten it all. Well, I have nothing left. Yeah, you should have quit eating. Or you should have quit spending and saved what you had. Let's go ahead and keep going. The last one is this. Last thing he did to dig him a hole was he was unprepared. Be unprepared for storms. Isn't it amazing that after he had wasted everything he had, the next verse says this, and there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. He went and he blew everything he had, he blew it all, and then right after he blew it, there came a need. Instead of setting aside and saving it, in case there ever was a need, he blew it, and then when the need came, he had nothing to be able to meet that need. Has anybody ever been in that situation besides me? Where you're sitting there and you blow everything you have, and then you need a new tire. Oh, man, why did I do that? Why did I blow everything I had and now my tire's flat and now I can't fix it? Anybody else besides me? See, but did that just happen? I think so. But how many of us live that way? We blow things, and then as soon as we blow it, there's a need. Where if we were good, listen to me, good stewards of what God gave us, whenever there was a need, we have enough. Listen. Here's the kind of church I want us to be. Not just a church, but as individuals. To where, you know what? We have so much of a blessing that whenever we're in need, we're able to meet it, and we see someone who else is in need. And we have been such a good steward of what God has blessed us with that we're able not just to help ourselves, but we're able to help others. How many of you like that? That's where God wants us to be. But it won't happen. It won't happen unless we become good stewards. Two things tied together. Give. When you give, God blesses you. But how many times does God bless you and you blow it? Give and be a good steward and watch God turn everything around. See, some of you sit there and you have desires in your heart that you want. You have things. You want a house. You want this. You want that. And you want all these different things. Give. Be a good steward. And God will give you the dreams that are in your heart. Everybody grab that. Give. Be a good steward and watch God bring dreams to pass. Here's the last verse. It says this. Proverbs 27:12. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it. Set money aside. Be disciplined to do that. Some of you haven't ever been trained to do this. No one's ever told you to do this. You're like, oh, I save some. I don't just blow everything. Come to the class on Wednesday night, and we will teach you how to be a good steward of what God has placed in your hands. Let me say this. And we can teach you how to be a good steward of what He's going to place in addition. Who wants addition? Then learn to steward. Then learn to steward and watch Him bless you.